This is grade 5, module 6, lesson 10, and the objective in this module is to compare the lines and patterns generated by addition rules and multiplication rules. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the homework, and this is question number 3 from the homework. And obviously it's multiple parts here. So we're going to start with A. So it says use the coordinate plane below to complete the following tasks. So A says line P represents the rule X and Y are equal. So what that means, let's start with that. That means if X and Y are equal, X is equal to Y. And if we're trying to find the line for that, so we can do a chart, but I mean it's very simple. X and Y. If X is 0, Y is 0. If X is 1, Y is 1. If X is 2, Y is 2. So we could plot those points, and you could see that they are all on that line right there. Okay. So line P represents the rule X and Y are equal. It says construct a line V that contains the origin, which is 0, 0, and point V. Okay, and point V is right here. All right, so we're going to construct a line for that. Okay, so going from the origin to and through point V, I've constructed this line, and we're going to label that V. Okay. Now, part C says name 3 points on line V. Okay, so let's take a look at our line. So I'm starting to make a data table here, and we're going to try to find out what the rule is for our line V. Okay, so we just connected the origin, and we connected point V, which point V, just so you know, was 4, 8. Okay, so this one was point V right here. Okay, and this is the origin. So let's look at our numbers and see what the rule is. Well, 0, 0 is not very helpful. But if we look at V here, we see that it's 4, 8. Well, if I'm at 4, how can I get to 8? Well, I could do either 4 plus 4 or 4 times 2. So let's use some other numbers for X and see if that would work for us. So if X was 1, and I did 4 plus 4, then Y would be 5. And let's see if that point is on our line. So if I go back here, and let's see. Okay, and I'm looking at 1 right here, and 1, 5. That is not on the line, so that cannot be the rule. So let's try. Let's take that one out, and so this one cannot be our rule. So let's look at 4 times 2. So we used 4, so let's look at the times 2 now. And 1 times 2 gives us 2. So let's go back and check here, and I have 1, which will be right here, 2. Yep, that point is on our line, so that works. Okay, let's go to our data table again, and let's try 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so let's see if that is also. I am going here, I'm at 2 times 2, which was 4y. Yep, that's also on our line, so this looks like we have a good rule. So let's just try another one here, and let's try 5. Okay, and if the rule is times 2, then that would be 10. So let's look at our graph here. We have 5, and we go up to, yep, that's also. So I think we have a rule here, and we have our 3 points. So let's go back and do the rule. The rule would be X, whatever you put in for X, and then I'm going to actually use a dot here to represent multiplication, times 2 is equal to Y. That would be our rule. And the question's asking us to name the 3 points for V, and we did that. So we have 1, 2, that's 1 point, and then we have 2, 4, and the last one was 5, 10. Now part D is, I just showed you how to do it. It says identify a rule to describe line V. And we did the rule, and the rule was x times 2 is equal to y. Now part E says construct a line W that contains the origin and point W. So let's go ahead and make that line. Okay, so I constructed line W in green. So we're going to do the same thing to identify the 3 points on the line, and at the same time we're going to identify the rule for W. Okay, so let's just look at what point W is. The coordinates for point W is 10 and 5. So we're going to need that information for our table that we're going to make. Okay, so I started my table here, and we have the origin, which is 0, 0, and then we have point W, which the coordinates are 10, 5. So I'm looking at the point W, and I see the numbers 10 and 5, and I'm trying to figure out if I have X, how did I get the Y? So let's just start by saying, well, we can do, let me change colors here. Let's just try, maybe it's 10 minus 5, or, because that would be equal to 5, or I can do 10 divided by 2, and that is also equal to 5. So I like what I'm seeing here. So let's take a look at the line and see if any of those work. So let's say x is 1. Okay, so if x is 1 and I take away 5, so I get rid of this, instead of a 10 I'm going to put 1 here. My answer for this one would be -4. And for this one would be 1/2. So let's just take a look and see on our graph here. So I have, let's go to 1, and looks like the point on the line is it about 1/2. So it's definitely not at -4, but it looks like it might be at 1/2. So I'm definitely going to cross this out because that doesn't fit in the rule. Let me try another number with x. Let's just go to 2. Okay, and if I had 2 divided by 2, that would equal 1. So let's see if, let me put 1/2 here. Let's see if 2, 1 is on our graph, and it is. It's right here. Okay, good. And let's try another one. I'm going to try down this way. Okay, so I have 8 as my x, and I'm dividing by 2. Which is going to give me 4. So let's take a look and see if 8, 4 is on our line, and 5, 6, 7, 8 would be right here, and that would be 4. So 8, 4 is on our line as well. So we can go ahead and say that that is the rule. Let me say rule. X divided by 2 is equal to y. Okay, so we actually did 3 points, and we have our rules. So we have F and G done. Let's write that in. Okay, our 3 points would be, I had 1 1/2. I had 2, 1, and 8, 4. And the rule again is x divided by 2 is equal to y. Okay, just one little reminder that I always tell my kids in class is just to make sure to use a straight edge when you're using your graph here. Notice that I labeled both of these lines, have them labeled here. Okay, and I also like them to label the x-axis and the y-axis. I didn't do it here, but I'm doing it now, just so they get familiar with which one's the x-axis and which one's the y-axis.